Shall I show you where I'm up to with some micro crochet projects? So this is the needle I use. Get that in focus if I possibly can. It's a 0.4 millimeter crochet hook. Teeny tiny hook. It's a number 24 in US sizes. And I like to use sewing thread. My preference, move those out the way a minute, my preference is Gutermann cotton sewing thread, and I'll show you a variant that I'm using for something else. And if you watch until the end, you'll see my absolute top tip for micro crochet, particularly if you're a beginner. So I use 100% cotton. These are just sewing threads you can buy in your, well, I can get them in either my independent fabric shop in town, or you can get them in Abercan. If you've got an Abercan near you, probably you can get them anywhere. So I like the single colours, but I also love the variegated colours. And I think this is beautiful. And again, this is 100% cotton 30, and I say you can buy these off the shelf. So these two gorgeous little cushions that I've made, I've used different rows, different things, different rows. So I've done a couple of rows of variegated, then a row of plain primrose, and then variegated, and then lilac, and then primrose again, and then I've done a continuation, if you like, of the granny square, just sort of joining it together. And I'm using different edges on different cushions because I like variety. So these two cushions have got sort of, if you like, a bit more of a stripe effect on one side, and on the other side they are just all variegated, and they are filled with professional quality wadding that you'd put in if you were making stuffed animals. So it's 100% polyester. Unfortunately, I can't get anything 100% cotton, it seems, at the moment. So, but this is, you know, it's proper stuff. It's not just rubbish filling them up. And I show you the colours that I've used. So I felt that the primrose and the, what I'm calling the lilac, primrose and lilac, are a best colour match to this variegated primrose and lilac thread. And these, if I show you contrast, because I'm mindful that all different monitors will show colours slightly differently. So this lilac is 4226. You can always look that up in your local fabric shop or whatever, see if you like the colour, compared to what I'm calling purple, which is 4434. So that's sort of like a bolder purpley colour. This is what I'm calling lilac. The primrose is 548 as compared to the what I'm calling lemon yellow. This is like zingy yellow, which is 588. I feel these two are much softer, gentler shades that go with that variegated. So I've just finished those. Those are going to be going into my Etsy shop because I just fancied using that colour, but I haven't got anything that will go with these cushions at the moment. You will see them in Maggie May's on display in the Emporium, because that's where I'm storing things that are for sale, that are handmade by me. In my Etsy shop, they're going to be stored in the Emporium, so they're going to be in there for now. And let me just show you something else I've got going on. Now, I had got a bedspread in this. Let me get it out. Actually, I'll show you this first. My sister-in-law gave me this. She was having a clear out, and actually it's really useful for keeping all of my micro crochet threads in order. There's not the same range as the polycotton blends or polyester blends, but I just thought, oh, that's wonderful. So I can see them all really clearly, and I've just got enough doodahs for them all to keep everything in order. And I just need to check that I've got the numbers correct. I think I will have the numbers correct, but I will check that afterwards just to make sure. And then there's one for the variegated. So the one I've used for this other project is this beautiful sort of russety with some red in it. This is 4010. Did I tell you the colour of that? The variegated lavender and primrose is 4103. Sorry, I don't think I told you that. So this one, I don't know if you had remembered, I had made a bedspread that was in my shop, and it was just not singing to me as a bedspread. And I thought, you know what, that's going to be a large cushion. I'm thinking scatter cushion on the floor, something a bit bigger and more robust. So I unpicked it. It hasn't been used for anything else. It's all been kept in a plastic wrapper, or a cellophane wrapper. So I've unwrapped it, unpicked it. So that's all there ready to be used again. So this is the back of it. This is the size it's going to be. And I've picked out the colours. So I've picked out this sort of, ooh, what is it? It's a sort of a, I'm thinking raspberry. It's not a strawberry. This is a red. That's more sort of pillar box red. It's not that. This is more sort of crushed raspberry. Again, 100% cotton. And this is 2454. I just love this colour, but I feel it's a really good colour match to what's in this variegated one, which is a 4010. And then the green, I went and got this the other day because I didn't have the green. And this one I feel is a sort of bit of a sort of I want to say mossy green. Maybe that, I don't know if that's quite right. But this is a zingy green. It's not that green, not that green, definitely not that green. And it's not that green, which is a more of a spring green, sort of for the first shoots appearing. This is a bit more subdued, a mellow green. I don't know if I'd call it mellow. So what I'm doing with this is the start. Can you see? Titchy, titchy, tiny. So I started off the granny square with the raspberry, and I've done a round of the variegated. Then I'm going to do a round of the green, and then probably another round of the variegated. I don't know how many I need to do to fill this space up. So it's going to be 4 there, and I might do 2 with raspberry in the middle, 2 with green in the middle. I don't know. I'll see how I go. I'll go with 2 first and then see how I think it looks. And I'm going to have to do sort of like a few rows at a time to get the sizing. But it's all a bit of experimenting, and then there'll be a feature of how they're joined across the middle. And I might do a different sort of edging around the edge. So that's fun, and I like to sort of make it up as I go along, just sort of have a play. So that's that one, and let me show you something else. This is what I'm doing for Bramble Cottage. This is the very beginning, so this is two rows, 2 rounds. Can I even get that in focus for you? 2 rounds with the central chain of a shell pattern. And this, because I felt this was too white. I didn't want it white, dazzly white. If you've got an old bedspread, it's more likely to be a bit more off-white. And I felt this was too creamy. But jury's out. I say this I'm making for Bramble Cottage, so I'll see how it goes. And this is 100% recycled polyester. And I have to say, I don't really like how it feels in my hands working with it, but I'll stick with it and see how far I go. So same hook and 100% polyester, and this is number 802. And those are the scissors I'm using. I actually snipped my finger the other day when I was holding the thread and I wasn't looking properly, and got my fingers in the way. And I will often be using this wonderful magnifying setup so I can have that balanced on my table and stitch under there, particularly for the very beginning. So my top tip, micro crochet, practice with normal crochet first. So this is just double knit wool. I say wool, but it's 100% polyester. Again, I don't really like the feel of the polyester. Sorry, acrylic, 100% acrylic. I wouldn't actually make a garment in this, but to practice with the stitches, it's brilliant. So this is a number 4mm hook. Don't ask me what that is in the American numbers. I'm sorry, I don't know, because it doesn't tell me on there. And I've done it in different colours, and I need to redo this one. I'm going to start another one again because it's a few days since I did it. So it's about getting the muscle memory. It's about doing it and getting the rhythm of it, because when you're doing it micro size, you haven't got the opportunity to just flow with it until you know that pattern off by heart and you get the feel of the rhythm of the stitches. It's not a time to be experimenting with this size. So I will start this one again in, probably I'll do the blue in the middle and then do the shells in the rusty colour and have another practice. And then as soon as I've done this third row, then I'll do the third row of this. And this is not going to be squares. This is just going to be one large shell pattern granny square. And it's you can see it's stitched really tight, so it'll make a lovely dense bedspread. But I say I don't really like the feel of the polyester, so I'm not intending to do many of those, but I will stick with it. So if you want to have a go at micro crochet, I had to get my hooks, my mini hooks, and I've got a 5 and I've got a 4.5, but it's the 4 I like. It seems to work best with the cotton thread, the sewing thread. I would say practice on any sort of wool that you've got, probably chunkier the better, to just get that muscle memory going and get the rhythm of it and get the feel of the pattern that you're doing and how it works and how it all fits together. And then you've got an aide-memoire. You can look at it and see how it sits together, where the stitches are, and get really clear in your mind how it's going to work. So this is going to have a shell in here and a shell in there, I think, if I remember right, and a shell in there. Anyway, I will show you how I get on, a progress report. And the other thing is, when you're stitching in ends, because the cotton is so fine, I have to use a really small needle, really fine needle, and a needle threader, and very good lighting, because I can't thread the thread into there. Oh dear, old eyes. But anyway, I love it immensely. It gives me great joy, and I can be listening to a podcast or some lovely music while I'm doing it. So it's good vibes is going into the stitching while I'm enjoying that quiet time of just stitching away. I'll talk to you very soon. Bye for now. Please subscribe. Thank you so much, and thank you for watching. Every view helps. Bye for now.